On the surface, everything seemed normal. It's so often the way. Carol Ann and Nick's romance was intense. That soon morphed into jealousy, then horrific violence. She was living with a monster. It took so much bravery to walk away. Carol Ann did it for her daughters.
The whole persona was that we were a very happy family.
And that you punched her in the face while you were driving.
That never happened.
It happened multiple times.
I've never threatened Carol with any weapons or anything like that.
He's a psychopath.
Her story was as unbelievable as it sounded, but, you know, the truth was stranger than fiction.
From the moment Carol Ann's relationship with Nick Razakis evolved after meeting at a bar, it was intense.
Showered me with gifts, he was always calling.
When the couple moved in together, Nick's jealousy started to surface.
He showed up opposite a restaurant that I was at for lunch with a friend and called me across the road and then ripped the jewellery off that he'd given me and told me that I didn't deserve it.
And so began his campaign of control.
And then he started to isolate me from my friends.
And at this point, did you love him?
Yeah, I was starting to get strong feelings because this hadn't really happened before. So I was allowing myself to be open.
The pair had 2 daughters together, Carol Ann enduring horrific and escalating family violence spanning a decade.
The amount of broken bones, I need to stop. Kicking me in my private spots, punching me in the breasts, breaking fingers, broken rib.
Nick Razakis puts on a compelling performance for police, painting Carol Ann as a heavy drinker.
I would find a drink in the laundry. I would find drinks under the cupboard.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
One that Detective Sergeant Elise Douglas deliberately went along with.
I needed him to think that I was believing hook, line and sinker, that he sort of had me convinced.
You chased her around the house, you punched her, you kicked her, you physically assaulted her to the point that she fled into the backyard and went and cowered in a corner of the backyard, and that you came out of the backyard holding a stick with a nail head sticking out of it, and that you threatened her and said, "I'll put this through your skull."
No, never happened.
It's like a shovel handle, bit longer. It's quite thick, and he made it at home, and it had nails sticking out of it.
Do you have any object in the house that is a stick with a nail in it, with a nail head sticking out of the side of it?
No.
The witnesses that we had, the neighbour, the work colleagues, the bruising that had been seen, you put them next to each other with the evidence that we had, and his account was unbelievable.
After detectives executed a search warrant on the family home, Nick's lies all came unstuck.
We found resting against a wall was a long stick, almost like a broom handle, that had holes in the top and that appeared to have had, at a point in time, nails, as well as baseball bat and some other knives that were throughout the house.
What did it tell you about Carol Ann's experience?
That it had been significant and it had been traumatic and terrifying for her to live within this home with what realistically for her was a monster.
It was not unusual for Carol Ann to come to this park and sleep in her car. Sometimes she wasn't fully clothed, so she kept the engine running to keep warm. Those nights away from her children, out here in the cold, became so frequent, the mum left a blanket in her car in preparation for the next time she was forced to flee.
There were deadlocks on the inside of the front door, which Carol Ann says Nick used to keep her both out of and inside the house.
She was also being very possessive over I miss my baby, man.
He gets upset about his daughter, despite being responsible for almost losing her during Carol Ann's pregnancy.
You cornered her on the bed and punched her in the stomach and said, "I don't want this kid of yours." And that the very next day she had quite a significant bleed, and had the tear been any bigger, she most likely would have miscarried with the child.
She miscarried a couple.
After a particularly violent attack, Carol Ann forced herself to leave for her girls.
He had the bolt off and I just ran.
Seriously injured and on the phone to police to retrieve her children, Carol Ann took herself to this hospital.
There was a really lovely nurse on duty and she just made me realise that this was the opportunity that I was being given to leave.
Carol Ann is changed forever because of the torment Nick Rizakis inflicted. But in her passion for floristry, she's found peace. And one thing she likes about her new self is her long hair. Nick was constantly ripping it out, the mum having to keep it short so he had less to pull on.
I've taken back my life. I've been able to give my daughters a life free of abuse.
In November 2023, Rizakis was convicted of 12 charges, 10 of assault, making a threat to kill and stalking. He was sentenced to 5 years, 2 months prison with a non-parole period of 2 years and 10 months. Now, Carol Ann is focused on being a mum and keeps an impeccably tidy home, a habit she tells us cemented from years of control.
How I should cook, when I should cook, how the laundry should be done.
These warning signs are something Carol Ann wants victims to recognise. And to those victims, she says this.
It's never too late, no matter how old you are, how long this has been going on, to escape.
Well done on getting out, Carol Ann. You are amazing. And to think Nick Rizakis could be out on parole as soon as August next year. Our DV laws are a disgrace and need an overhaul. And if you or someone you know is experiencing sexual abuse or family violence, there is help. Call 1-800-RESPECT. That's 1-800-737-732.